as always, thank everybody for taking the time to be here. I know especially this time of year can get a little hectic, and actually, as we were just kind of mentioning, this is the last partner series for 2022 for us. And for those of you on the call and those who will watch later, we're going to put together a survey to send out to everybody that's attended throughout the year, probably all of our clients, but specifically because some of them have watched these after the fact, even though they didn't join live. Just continue to try to get feedback on, is this helpful and how can we make it better? Our main objective with doing this is to make sure that you all get access to see, the partners that we work with, that are curated, handpicked by us, and that have, lots of awesome products and things that you guys can use to engage your employees and engage your customers. So we want to make sure that any ideas that you have, we're receptive to it so we can continue to improve it into next year. We've already been talking about what our lineup is for next year. I think I mentioned that we're going to do 2 live events. We did our first last fall. We're going to do one in March and probably in August. And in those months, we won't have the virtual. So there'll be 9 virtual partner series and 2 live next year. So more details to follow, just giving you a little bit of a lay of the land, because we have gotten feedback that this is helpful. So moving on, Jim Martin, I am really excited to have him here. Brett and I spent time with Jim yesterday on a dry run call. We have been big fans of Numo for a while, but in true sort of partner series fashion, we got educated. Even though we've worked with them for a long time, we learned a lot yesterday, and what should take 30 minutes took us like an hour, because we were asking a lot of questions and trying to get a better understanding of how they structure the website and just their philosophy on how they present their product offering. So Jim is the president of Numo Manufacturing. And we were just talking about the fact that Jim's been with Numo for 25 years. He went to school for engineering, actually. And you can see Jim's office is like right next to the manufacturing, or one of their decoration facilities, I guess is probably the correct way to say it, or manufacturing facilities. And we were also just talking, for football fans on here, Jim went to SMU, and it sounds like his first year was the year after they received the death penalty, where essentially, due to what a lot of the stuff is probably legal now thanks to NIL, but at that time they killed the football program as a result of it. And there's actually a 30 for 30 on ESPN called Pony Excess that's really interesting to watch. But so Jim went to SMU, lives in Texas, Numo's in Texas. They have a phenomenal product offering. They're known for koozies, which he'll go into, but they do a lot more. And so with that, I just want to turn it over to Jim. Jim, thanks for being here, and let's get rolling.
Awesome. Hey, thanks so much for having me. Yeah. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and get my presentation up here.
Also, just really quick, while Jim's doing that, as always, please, this is a presentation, but it's interactive. We encourage anybody to, whether it be pop something in the chat or unmute and ask a question, please do so as you see fit.
Yeah, holler, guys. It works a lot better when we're all chit-chatting about stuff. So first off, yeah, thanks very much for Landon, Brett, and all the group at Goodson for having me. I think we do business with a lot of folks, and Goodson's definitely one of our distributor customers that does it right. And I'm super stoked to be able to be here and share with everyone what we do. So a little bit about kind of who we are. One of the big differences that you'll see with our firm versus other firms is that we make 95% of what we sell. We actually manufacture. The bulk of what we do is cutting and sewing. And I'll explain a little bit as we go through this process what that means for anything you guys are wanting to buy, and what that really means from a customization standpoint. It can sometimes be a little bit to wrap your head around, but we're going to kind of have a theme through all of this that I want everyone to kind of be mindful of. And when you get a little bit lost, just kind of take a step back and think, okay, kind of reorient yourself. So big headline is that we actually make everything that we sell. And to that end, I'm in Kaufman, Texas, just outside of Dallas. We've got about 150 employees here. We decorate some beverageware. We manufacture some notebooks. We actually pour candles in this facility also. And then we have a large facility in Mexico, just across the border from Texas, where we have more than 1,000 employees, and that's where we do pretty much 95% of our sewing down there. So a little bit, we're in a couple different locations, and lots and lots of folks sewing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in Reynosa. And kind of the theme through all of this is we talk, and even inside the candles and beverageware, when we talk about it, everything we do, you need to think about shapes and you need to think about materials, meaning that we have a shape of something, a pouch, and we'll talk about a specific pouch here next. And then we might offer that shape of pouch in 12, 15 different material options that can be decorated different ways, have different pluses and minuses, hit different price points, kind of depending on what you're after and what you're looking for. And Landon mentioned we kind of cut our teeth in the promotional products world and our business on can holders, koozies, and even koozies. Same thing. We have your basic shape can holder. We offer that in lots of different styles, lots of different material options to hit different price points, kind of, and achieve whatever you're hoping to achieve with the simple, elegant can holder, right? So I'm going to spend a little bit of time kind of hammering this home in an example using this basic bank bag sized pouch, right? And when I say bank bag, it's the old cash deposit bag. It's a 5x9 ish flat pouch with a zipper, and kind of we start from a price point which is your basic kind of bank bag with the expanded vinyl, which is a vinyl product, and you can get that as low as $2.03 with a one color imprint on it. And then we can, if you want that in canvas, we can offer that in canvas, $3.04. This is kind of like a screen printed item. We're gonna direct screen print this item, and we're going to offer that because we cut and we sew it ourselves from scratch. We have 27 different zipper colors. So here's a little bit of a point of differentiation. If you're looking for a basic pouch, we can offer that canvas with lots and lots of different zipper colors. Then we can offer that same pouch in a clear vinyl, for example, if that's what you're looking for. Same 27 zipper colors, right? And then
Jim,
if you want that,
just a real quick
yeah,
question. So like on that natural canvas option where you have the imprint that goes off the edges, you're not, because you're cutting and sewing, even though it's a one color print, you're able to do an imprint that kind of comes off the edges like that. Am I seeing that right?
Yep, absolutely. So, and because we're also cutting and sewing this from scratch, we can screen print up to 4 colors on that same pouch, edge to edge. So 4 spot colors, edge to edge. So that's a little bit of a differentiator. Oftentimes you'll see folks that'll import a pouch. It'll come with a black, red, navy, royal zipper will be your kind of options. And then you can put a little spot imprint, 2x2, 3x3 logo in the middle or in the bottom left. And so us being able to go edge to edge is kind of a differentiator because we make everything ourselves from scratch. So kind of same concept here. Here's that same pouch, but in a lavender canvas. Or if you want to drop a high on there, turn it into and these are just example imprints, obviously, but yeah, exactly, Landon. We can go edge to edge. Corduroy, we can do that in corduroy. We have a straw backed fabric that we use. We can take this clear vinyl, we put a couple layers together, and we put some confetti as a sandwich in between the bread of the vinyl, if you will, so that you have like a shimmery vinyl. And a lot of this is showing kind of what we're able to do. So I don't know if you have a specific need for confetti lined pouches. However, we do sell quite a few. So this
And it
is
looks
just
really quick, Jim. It looks like you're able to match the imprint color to the chosen zipper color, so that's also something where you can kind of create a consistent look.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things to note as we go through this, color continuity in our line is something we spend a lot of time. We don't just go buy a blue zipper. We go to a zipper manufacturer. We get the zipper dyed to match the blue that we want it to match. So as a result, everything that you look at when we're looking at all this, these little tabs that are on this pouch, for example, that webbing will match this zipper color. And then as we start looking at other shapes, right? We're looking at one shape and multiple materials here. As we start looking at other shapes, you're going to see that every piece of plastic hardware, every zipper, every piece of webbing, that color is consistent across. We offer like 27 colors of zippers, hardware, and webbing, and all of those colors are the same. So so you're able to really mix, match, and build super consistent products across our line. So it's something we spend a lot of time working on and developing. So it's a little bit of a differentiator also. Oftentimes, oftentimes other suppliers in our space will go to Asia, they'll walk a fair, they'll buy, they'll decide they want to bring a pouch, they want to buy a pouch, they want to buy a backpack, and they'll say, I want it in red, navy, black. They won't spend the time to necessarily get all of those colors, that backpack color, and they might go buy a pouch, and that pouch color might be a different navy than the backpack color, for example. So just a little bit of something different that we do. But yeah, great point.
It is really cool. And for those of you, so I shared a link to the Numo site in the chat box here. If you want to, while he's kind of talking through this, yesterday during the dry run, it really struck a nerve with me, well, not a nerve, it struck a chord with me in regards to how they really do break it down via shape and then via material. But if you go to the website and on the main page up at the top, you'll see there's a drop-down box that shows all the different shapes. And then right to the right of that, it shows all the different materials that they have. So as he's kind of touching base on these shapes and things like that, keep in mind that these are all listed here. So if you have any questions on anything you see on the website, chime in and ask.
You got it. Exactly. Shapes and materials. That's our theme. So kind of what we have here, all spot colors, screen printed, direct. And then over here, we're going to take that same pouch, and let's say you want to do a 4-color process all over full color imprint on that pouch. Here are kind of your options there. And we're touch lots of different price points and lots of different kind of vibes for the pouch itself. The least expensive is this lightweight ripstop fabric, coming in around as low as $350. You want something a little bit heavier, you're going to be about $458, right? And then if you want something that is made from an rPET, which is recycled water bottles, we can do that. It's a little heavier weight even than the 600 denier poly. And then a vegan leather it's a faux leather. It's a PVC material, PU PVC blend, and it's got a real nice hand to it. It feels like, well, it's got a nice hand to it. And so we can do that if you don't want the more fabric-y feel. And then a new material that we're launching, we can even do that in a quilted, what we call puff. It's a quilted pouch. And so again, as we're looking through this, I want everyone to kind of pick up and note as we're talking, this peach zipper, this lavender zipper is the same. That's the same lavender zipper there, right? The same lavender zipper there. So you're able to kind of, because we manufacture everything, all of this stuff, the colors line up consistently across our line. So, and lastly, let's say you even want that pouch super high end, you want a super heavyweight canvas, you want to put a liner inside that pouch, and you want us to print only the liner, and then put some leather zipper stops on. We have that option as well in a line that we call City Cut and Sew. Super high end. That pouch is going to be, $15. So,
Jim, just a quick question to hit the chat is it looks like Katie was looking at the confetti option, and it's, she's asking, can you kind of determine or have any impact on what the confetti colors are?
Katie, you've hit the limit of our customization. We kind of have one confetti mix that we use. Now we buy the colors of confetti and mix it. And if you are interested in a particular color, we can see if we have that color in the mix that we buy and potentially do a little bit of a custom mix for you. Sure. But we've spent a lot of time mixing to get to that kind of one that is the Goldilocks of confetti for most folks. But yeah, if you have something in particular you're looking for, and we happen to have that that color palette that will work, we can mix it up for you. Alrighty. Okay, so shapes and materials. We've kind of covered that one pouch, 13 material choices, 27 zipper colors, and price points that run the gamut, right? So as we talk about what we're going to kind of go in next, is we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about some new shapes that we've released and some kind of old, what I call daily driver type shapes. And it's important to remember when we're looking at all of this that by and large, when you see one shape, that we offer, it's going to come in tons of different material choices, right? So, and tons of different zipper, webbing, plastic hardware combinations also. It's kind of the world is your oyster with us in that sense. So shapes and materials, we kind of covered the taking one shape and blowing it out into materials. And now we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about new stuff and what those shapes look like. All right. So recently we launched a line of hip packs and 6 basic shapes of hip pack and sling pack that have done super, super well for us. And for example, this is that 600 denier polyester, dye sublimated to any color you want. And this is a natural webbing color that we have. That's a little darker. We call it, what do we call that? Harvest tan hardware. It's a harvest tan zipper. So you're getting a nice kind of neutral color palette there, dye sublimated to all over. This is a denim, what we call a field bag. And this has been screen printed. And back to Landon's point, this is a 3-color screen print sitting on top of a denim fabric. And because we make everything from scratch, we're able to bleed this off of the edges and get kind of that nice effect there. So
yeah, and one thing that's not been mentioned yet is, so you guys are cutting and sewing everything, but normally when you're putting together something that's this customizable, the minimums are just super high to be able to make that make sense for a lot of vendors. But you guys are, if you're clicking around on any one of these products inside the website, I mean, sometimes you're seeing like a 12-piece minimum or somewhere in there to where you can get a really cool, fully custom bag for a lower quantity to kind of hit or fit whatever use case you may have, which is more or less unheard of.
Looks to
totally.
be about 50 pieces on a lot of these, but still pretty
Okay,
manageable. And the lead time is really manageable. And then also to your point, Jim, I'm on the website on this, hip bag now, and it's like you have the material colors and then you have the webbing. So you can choose the color of your strap, you can choose the hardware color, and you can choose the zipper color on this thing.
Absolutely. And if you want this zipper color to be different from this zipper color, not a problem. So, I mean, it's customized down to that level. And following on kind of what Brett said, yeah, the minimums are super, super low. So you're able to get a real kind of retail vibe, high-end vibe for low minimum and fairly competitive price point on them as well. So, and one of the things that's super important to understand also, kind of going back to the shape conversation around those pouches, is we're able to touch a lot of different price points, kind of depending on what your budget is and what you're hoping to accomplish with it. So these hips and slings have done super, super well for us. It is a real nice item that is on trend right now in the market space and in the retail world as a whole. And that's transferred over into our promotional products industry as well, to a large degree for us. So anyway, we have a couple different sizes of hip packs. That's a little field bag. This is what we call a hydration pack, which has been amazing. It's great for wellness programs. We did a ton of festival work over the summer with this. We had a joke calling it the festival bae has to have her hydro flask or her water bottle with her while she's at Coachella. So anyway, it's done really well. But again, following this can be any of 27 webbing colors. You can do the plastic hardware in 27 colors. So here's an example of that bag where we did a black zipper on the front and a citron zipper on the top to kind of tie everything together. So hips and slings, super, super popular and new for us. Last year, we launched a puffy blanket, which is a quilted blanket that is fully customizable. We're making this thing from scratch. We've got huge, large format quilters that we're actually dye sublimating the top and the bottom, popping some insulation in it, slapping it on a quilter, and sewing it all up and turning it into a puffy blanket, fully customized. It's a great gift item. It's great for the season now when we're in where it's a little bit chilly outside. And this has a durable water repellent finish on the exterior of it too, so it's really good for outside. And we do a stuff sack that matches. We make the stuff sack from scratch as well. So last year we launched these. They did really, really well. And so what we did this next year is we took this material and we expanded it into different shapes, our same basic shapes, right? So here you're seeing that pouch that I showed as puff puff. Also, it's that same pouch and a puff puff in this puff puff quilted material. Here's a basic tote bag in that puff puff quilted material. We launched a little scarf with it. We
Jim,
do a little
I want to just make sure to point something out, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong on this, but one thing I want to tell everybody on the call and anybody listening later is when you're looking at these on screen, imagine these things are white. Imagine them as a blank canvas, because there's such a tendency to look at this and because of the way our industry is put together predominantly, you would look at that tote bag in the middle of the page and assume, oh, I'm going to buy it with that wavy mountainous pattern and put my logo in that little patch on top. And what you've got, what I want you to understand with all this stuff, at least insofar as the things that allow full color printing, the sublimated printing and things like that, is these patterns are, we would print the whole thing. So when you're looking at this scarf and all this, just imagine it white and imagine essentially the sky's the limit on what we could print on it.
Yep, exactly. Great point. Thanks. Yeah, for sure. It's a blank canvas, truly. So, and yes, there's a little message in the chat that puff puff is in fact incredibly on trend right now. Also, yeah.
Every time you say puff puff, my heart smiles a little bit.
You know, we're pretty irreverent in our naming of things, and part of the reason for that is we want to make sure that we leave an impression with it, right? So you're not going to forget puff puff, right? Anyway, so yeah. And so it's super important to know inside this puff puff collection, by and large, any shape you're seeing on our website that is a tote, pouch, that kind of even a can holder is available in puff puff. So, and driving home again, this webbing, it's the same webbing color palette that we're using on these hips and slings. This is 1.5 inches, and this is a 1-inch webbing. So, but it's the same exact color palette that runs across throughout. So it's that's that same 1-inch webbing there coming in here as a tab that we were seeing on the other pouches. So it's that color palette. You got 27 different webbing colors, 27 zipper colors, and you can mix and match and pick up different ways to accent your brand that way as well. Even down to that little ribbon color on that AirPod color. It's the same color palette. If you wanted that little ribbon on that key right there to be this olive, it's not a problem. We have it. So anyway, yeah, this puff puff stuff, it's done great. It's not inexpensive, but in this world, in our space, in the promotional products world, what we're really trying to do is provide things that people want to use, that people, we used to say all the time, and Landon spoke to this a little bit yesterday when we were can holders in the South. Everybody has that drawer full of can holders, right? And what we want to do is we want to make that can holder that people are actually going to use. And when you guys are thinking about giving something away to a customer or an employee, that's kind of the same concept, right? You want to make sure that whatever, even if it's a can holder, which is everywhere in this world, we want to make, it's all about that brand impression. And we want to make sure that whatever we're making, we're providing a tool for you guys to be able to have something that lasts, that people actually use and utilize, right? Cost per impressions are insanely good for promotional products, but they get lost when we're providing something to someone that no one wants to use. So anyway, that's my little promotional product soapbox. Puff puff, super great. It's been, and also a little bit, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the sustainability opportunities here. The exterior of this quilted stuff is rPET, also recycled water bottles, and the GRS certified, and the insulation on the inside is recycled as well. So there's a little bit of a green play with this stuff, which is another hot button issue in the promotional products world. And now for something a little bit completely different from cutting and sewing, but you'll see kind of a theme as we spend a little bit of time talking about candles as well. We do things a little bit differently than others in our space from candles. We physically, outside my window here, we have a big candle pouring line where we're actually pouring our candles. We're mixing our fragrances into our wax here and physically pouring these candles ourselves. Other folks in our space will buy pre-poured candles and put a sticker on the outside of them, and that's great and fine. That's just not exactly our model and how we go about doing things. So candles have done extraordinarily well. Another wonderful gift item for this time of year. They're great for employee onboarding gifts. They're great for this work from home hybrid world that we live in, also from a candle perspective. I always have one burning at my desk. So it's something that helps me find my zen every day. Anyway, our candles, 100% soy wax, natural soy wax. We don't put any paraffin or parabens in the fragrances that we mix or the wax itself. As a result, you have a real low temperature burning candle, super, super clean burning candle. You can stick your finger in I can't do it there because my jar is it's burned down a little bit. You can physically stick your finger in our candles. It burns so cool and not burn your finger, which is a little unique in our space as well. In the retail world, that's something that a lot of you'll read a lot of paraffin free candles in the retail space. In the promotional products world, it's not something that is super, super prevalent. We decorate, and the gift you guys got is a stemless faux satin etched wine glass. So in this building, we decorate a ton of beverageware, cups, mugs, things like that. So since we're able to do that, another thing that differentiates us with our candles is we're able to directly print on the vessels. And so like where this says, this is for you, this is a screen print directly onto that can glass. And so that's a little bit different than putting a label on, which we can put a label. Here's that same can glass with a label on it. And here's a little jar, direct printed, jar with a label. Different price points. If you want a 4-color process imprint, you're going to be able to do that with a label much better, much easier than you can with the direct print. And we offer 2 different sizes of tins. This can glass has been, it is super popular. There's a brand in the retail space called Homesick Candles, you guys have probably seen, that have really popularized this can glass shape for a candle. Jars with lids. And then we also, another important thing that we can do is we can custom make you a box for the candle, and that just kind of elevates the overall perceived value once it's delivered to whoever's going to be using and burning the candle. So a little bit kind of an additional kind of nice element to it. Another thing, since our candles are 100% soy wax, with this can glass, what you're able to do is once you've burned it down, you can run hot water through it. The wax comes right out. You can pop it in the dishwasher, wash it, and then you can drink out of it. So another little way for the candles to kind of live on. Last little point on candles, our fragrances, we offer, I think we're actually up to 19 fragrances now. And what you will see is an elevated fragrance profile for us. It's not, you're not going to see your vanilla, peppermint, kind of more basic candle fragrances. We use a lot of eucalyptus mint is our most popular candle fragrance. It's kind of an elevated, like spa vibe fragrance to it. And one of the things I'm going to get the Goodson fellas is I need to get them some candle samples, fragrance samples. We've got little tins that really, I mean, this is not your basic promo candle. So this is something that's done great for us. Super excited about it. Let me check the chat. Oh, Brett.
And something that Landon had mentioned yesterday during our dry run, which I thought was really interesting, is that so a lot of these candles don't say the actual flavor that's on there. So like on that glass where it says this is for you, like I could see, I don't know, like KFC's on the call, maybe you do like Colonel's Sunday morning or something like that, or I don't know, you can kind of create your own flavor or smell, if you will, by utilizing these. But I think that Jim had mentioned yesterday that if the quantity is high enough, they'll actually create your own unique smell for you by just saying, I want it to smell like gasoline or whatever you may want it to smell like. That kind of helps build your brand in whatever way you want it to smell like.
Yeah, absolutely. We have in fact done a gasoline candle, and it was horrible and smelled like gasoline, but it was for a convenience store chain, and they absolutely loved it. And it was a little bit of a, I don't know, parody, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so candles, they've done super great for us. And coming back again to kind of what we're able to do a little bit differently, it's this degrees of customization with very low minimums. So we're able to get a really kind of elevated direct print, if that's what you're looking for, in a glass, in a vessel that is very retail ready, and with a fragrance that would smell like something you would buy from a retail store in a or from your spa when you're at your hotel getting your massage kind of thing. So a little bit more elevated from what you see in most spaces.
And you've got
Alrighty.
the custom box. I don't, did you, I think you mentioned
Yeah.
that you can do the custom box. So.
Yep, custom box. And our box comes with, it has an inside liner on it also that helps protect from breakage. And it just is everything we do is a little bit more elevated than other offerings in our space. So, alrighty. And another new thing that we've been doing that is a little bit different from all of this too, we have some 120-year-old, we actually have 5 120-year-old, well, the oldest one's 120 year old letter presses. And so this stuff is actually, these cards and whatnot have actually been printed on old school clamshell letter presses. And lots of folks are doing drop shipping, mailing to customers, mailing influencer kits, mailing to employees at home, and everything needs to come with a little card explaining what they're getting, thanking them for participating in something, thanking them for being an employee, and letterpress, for those that are kind of in the know about it, is again a little bit more elevated, and just as that little extra touch to things for people that are going to look at it and say, oh my gosh, you took the time to letterpress this. And Landon mentioned yesterday, was a great point, that it is difficult sometimes to find your person that can letterpress in your town, because it's typically somebody working out of their garage or in a small studio and are backed up and doing high-end wedding invitations. And our letterpress offering hits a price point that is not as expensive as wedding invitations or party invitations, but at the same time is a really nice presentation and for letterpress. So anyway, just a little add-on that
This is one of my favorite new things that Numo's doing by far. I mentioned it to Jim yesterday. I mean, I love everything they're doing, but this in particular just hits home for me. I absolutely love letterpress. And if you need samples to see if you don't know what it is, the best thing to do is I just work with Numo to get some sample packs or something, and I just get it into your hands so you can see it. It's really cool, very vintage is what I would say. So
yeah, for sure. Alrighty, and then a few more little quick hits. Again, from a gifting environment, I drink my coffee out of this glass. Sorry, it's got a horrible imprint. It actually is the first one, well, when we were testing printing them. So, and we call it our element glass. Super, it's a double wall glass tumbler, and you can put hot in it, you can put cold coffee in it, you can drink a cold beer out of it, hot or cold. And we also offer it with a box if you would like it with packaging. It's a really great gift item, and it has, again, quite a bit of utility to it. It's interesting and is super nice, so I love it. These little gusset pouches, what we call, we've just launched those as well. We launched them in 3 different sizes, and that's them kind of puffed up. They fold super flat also, so it's great. I keep these in my suitcase for when I travel, and pull them out, pop different. It's almost like a different version of a packing cube. Pop them in there. Super handy. They pack super small. Tons and tons of utility with them. They're one of my favorite new little items. I love pouches. And I love bags, and I can't have enough of them. And those are the ones that I'm using myself right now. And then these little AirPod covers. We saw one in the Puff collection when I showed it. And again, shapes and materials, right? And here they are out of neoprene, and great little gift item, and super good price point, and tons of utility, right? Lots of people throw these on their key ring. They might pop their AirPods in there, throw them in their bag as a little bit of a way to brand. I know lots of people also, AirPods are a popular gift, employee gift for the holidays, and getting those things imprinted and decorated can sometimes be a little bit of a challenge. Also, you feel a little bit like, oh my gosh, do I want to? So the little AirPod covers are a nice way to protect them and get a little bit of branding on them relatively inexpensively. So kind of a
Would
nice
these
little
also
hack.
fit if somebody had some like JBL or just some like Brookstone, or I don't know, just some random ones? Is it kind of like a one size fits all for those
Yeah,
for the most part?
we offer two sizes, and they are a little bit one size fits all for the most part. I use Pixel Buds, that's what I'm using right now, and they fit in there no problem. So yeah, that's the beauty of neoprene, is that it's got some stretch and some give to it. So yeah, totally, they'll work. They're I won't say they're 100% universal, but 95% universal. So absolutely. Okay. Now, so that's kind of the new stuff that we've done, and circling back a little bit, and I'll try to pick up the pace here, onto some kind of our daily drivers, what I consider our daily drivers that you got that are not new, but if you're not aware of, might be new to you, right? Circling back, these backpacks, we launched those a year or so ago. Shapes materials to hit different price points, and all of this webbing, again, webbing, zippers, all in different colors, to kind of complement your brand or whatever you're looking to accomplish. And they've been great, super popular, very, very nice backpack that compares to a Fjallraven style backpack, only completely customized and to your brand specifications. So super good. We also do a line of paper, notebooks, task pads, and I just want to point out this navy tape and this peach elastic on these are the same navy and peach you could get in zippers, webbing, plastic hardware throughout, right? So we have one navy that we're going to carry throughout our entire line. And that also is, if you're building out a little kit to send to someone, we do tons and tons of pop some pins in a pouch. Here's a task pad that goes along with it, and the tape, all of that can be all super have that kind of color continuity running throughout the giveaway, so, or running throughout the program. So super important to note as you're looking at even writing instruments and notebooks with us. This little desk pad I absolutely love. It's a great, here it is in the kind of some of my faves. It's a great item that can live on someone's desk. It has a ton of utility. It's got the 7 days of the week, and people can drop their little what they're going to be working on for that day, or their little to-do list there. Really low footprint, small footprint. I love it. We sell tons and tons of them, and this is a little bit different from your typical, task or little notebook that's this size, that's everywhere in our space. This is a unique little shape. These jotters are pens. We sell tons and tons of them. Again, this color palette kind of tells the story. What's different about our jotters that's unique is if the barrel color, the ink color matches the barrel color if you would like for it to. So this pink pen, it comes with either pink ink or black ink. So if you're looking for a pen that has a unique rainbow color, right? It's a great option for you. Also, these things just write like butter, and it's one of those things that you need to get into your hands to use to be able to understand what butter really is. But it's a wonderful pen.
It's our favorite pen, and we've got them with our logo on them. So anybody who wants them, we've got them in house already, and we've sold a lot of them, showed them a ton. So,
and kind of coming back again to the whole idea of giving someone a pen, if you're looking to do that, is to make sure that A, they use it so they get that brand impression, and B, when it runs out of ink, they come back asking for another one, right? So and this pen will help accomplish that, I believe. Alrighty. Stowaway, what we call the stowaway, it's a great little travel item. This thing, it packs inside that pocket. It has I forget what they call the luggage pass through that slips over there also. So when you're traveling, my family likes to shop a little bit, and we always throw one of these in a bag when we're traveling, packed up, so that whatever we decide that we're going to buy, we're able to tote home pretty easily. It's a great travel item. And then this selfie care kit's done amazing for us also. It's a little neck wrap that is with, you can pop in a microwave, pop in the freezer, and an eye pillow all tucked into a nice little pouch that whoever's been given the gift can use the pouch for later also. Super, super great item right now amid the pandemic, or wherever we are in the pandemic, right? Lastly, we've got a line of stainless drinkware. This cold cup right here, it's super, super popular. It's done amazingly well. We partnered with a high-end brand in the craft coffee space called Created Co. And they are in all kinds of small, super high-end coffee shops. And you guys might see this stuff there. And if you happen to, we can decorate it with your logo on it. And it's done quite well for us. Lastly, but not least, we still do in fact make can holders. And I'm going to drive home one last time this shapes and materials kind of concept, right? And this is a 4-color process neoprene can holder, meaning that you can dye sub edge to edge, whatever you want on this can holder. Let's say you want to print both the inside and the outside of that can holder. We can do that. We call it duplexing. So this is the outside, this is the inside, or this is the inside and this is the outside. We can make that thing reversible. Let's say that you like your White Claws. We can make you a White Claw can holder, same materials, different shape, dye sublimated all over. And let's say you want to put a magnet on that White Claw slim can holder. We can do that as well. You can pop a magnet on it, and then it becomes the one that sits on your refrigerator or in your garage or wherever that you're constantly grabbing and using. So shapes and materials, and since we make everything, we can do all kinds of different trickeration with them. And let's say that this is a little bit too heavy for your price point, $1.76 is a little bit too high. We can do that same thing in a almost neoprene, we call it scuba, for 99 cents, 4-color process, dye sublimated. And let's say you want a little eco element to that as well. We can do the same. We can do that can holder with an RPET exterior. We call it an eco coolie. And last but not least, yes, you can even do it in puff puff. So here's your slim can in a puff puff. We can do a regular size can. So everything is shapes and materials, shapes and materials. So that kind of brings me to a close.
Yeah, no, it's it's a lot, and I appreciate. Well, I just appreciate all of it because I think the level of customization is so unique. And then I'll also say that, at the very low sort of entry level, you guys still do have the can coolie that allows the 1-color print that I think can usually be done for around 70 cents. So I mean, we genuinely run the gamut as far as pricing goes. But yeah, so Jim, thanks again for doing this, and everybody who's here for the time today. And then a lot of you are consistent in terms of attending this, and we appreciate that time throughout the year. And as I said, we're going to follow up to ask some questions on how we get better. But there's just a lot here. And one of the things I would point out about Numo, and I think this is kind of why yesterday took so much longer and we went a little bit long today, is that they just do a lot, and it's important to understand how flexible it is and how customized it can get. And again, the fact that they make things is pretty unique. There's not a lot of suppliers in our industry that really actually manufacture and decorate the products that they offer, which then in turn allows them to do, these much higher levels of customization. And then on the website, one thing I was kind of looking at throughout the presentation, I was kind of looking through the website, and I would point out, Jim talked about shapes and materials throughout the presentation, but I would say that, when you're looking at shapes, which could also be interpreted items or styles or types of items, that you're going to get that item and then it's going to show it in all the materials. Conversely, if you're interested in, I really want to do a corduroy item, for example, you can go to materials, you click corduroy. These items are going to show up across different categories. So for example, if you select that pouch under shapes, you're going to see it in all the materials, including corduroy. If you select corduroy, you're going to see it there again. And so it's, there's some cross pollination, if you will, on the site in terms of it's just ways to try to, you're either coming there and you're going, man, I just really like the idea of doing something in corduroy, and maybe I don't know the specific item I want to do in corduroy. You can go that route, or exactly the item that you want and you want to see all the different material options. And then finally, under collections is kind of where you get into, for example, like the letterpress stuff that I'm so excited about, the candles and other things. So the point is, I think, and this is what I think happened with Brett yesterday, is like, even though he sold Numo for a long time, the website to him, he didn't really understand the high level philosophy on how they had developed it and organized it. And then yesterday, all of a sudden, all the lights started going on and the bells started going on, as far as like, oh, now I understand how it is organized. And so now it's much more useful to me because I can go there and feel more confident about finding what I need. So, and Brett, you feel free to correct me if that's.
No, well said. Well said.
So I know we're a little long. Jim, you've spent a lot of time with us, and we really appreciate it. And Misty and everybody else. Not only is it, Jim has a great team, and one of the big things, again, it's a whole package when we bring somebody on to these to the partner series, and it's not just what they offer and the products, the creativity, the customization, all those things, but it's also our experience with the team, and that there's alignment in their brand, what they're trying to do aligns well with what we're trying to do, and that we know that they're just dependable and they've got a great team and they're going to be responsive and provide great service and quality and all of that. Does anybody have any questions? I know we fielded some through chat. I just kind of want to pause here, and does anyone want to unmute and ask anything? And Brett, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think you brought it home well. Jim, great job. Really excited to get full understanding of Numo. Again, like Landon said, I had been going to Numo for a long time. I knew you guys can do a lot of things, just didn't really understand how to go about it. But the fact that you've kind of broken it down into shapes and materials, my brain was just light bulb. Thank God I finally understand it. And now you're like, okay, I want a backpack. Well, so do you want a budget-friendly backpack, or do you really want to make this thing as customizable as possible? And you kind of run the gamut there on pricing based on marketing dollars or whatever your objective is for that particular item. So just so super cool. One of the things we did touch base on was this, like the velvet stuff on your site too. I think that's a really cool item that I think I'm going to be doing some of those for like my sister's wedding, that say some stuff, because they're doing like all black, sort of this black and gold thing. And velvet just feels like a fun handoff. I don't think anybody's throwing that koozie away anytime soon, and I'm going to grab that one.
For sure.
Commemorative item.
Yeah. The final point I'll make is, everybody, please have a happy Thanksgiving, a Merry Christmas. We'll be communicating information and plans for 2023 here soon, and just this to me is a classic example about why we do the partner series, and that is, in many cases, even if we show a product, whether it be a link or in a presentation, it is hard to get a full understanding of what all the possibilities are. And I think that's, somebody really nailed me to the wall and said, what's the main reason that you do the partner series? It is, we want our customers to understand all the possibilities, everything that is available to them to accomplish their goals for their customers and employees. And this setting, a lot of times, is the only way that's remotely possible. Unless we would have, an in-person event, again, which we're mixing those in and bringing in some of those partners as well. And hopefully everybody that's here and those who watch afterward agree that that's happening. So everybody have a great day. We'll be in touch with more information, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, guys.